This is Hi-Fi Lo-Fi and an update. I realised that I'd omitted some stuff from the video on this quirky heater, and I call it quirky, but it isn't quirky in Japan, but it's quirky in the sense that it's sort of old tech that meets new tech, because it's, you know, paraffin, that's kerosene, paraffin oil heaters seem rather old-fashioned, but it's in an extremely modern high-tech package. So yeah, it's sort of old meets new, sort of a fusion of old and new. You can see a light flashing there, and the reason I've done this video quickly is so you can hear that sound I mentioned, that warning sound, when it's been on for nearly 3 hours now. So it's been on, it just made the sound after 2 hours 50 minutes, and then there's another 5 minutes before it sounds again. Now, just to clarify, it's the exact same warning sound, it isn't a different sound, and you should hear it in a moment. So I'm going to keep talking and then I'll stop when you hear it. And remember what I said, I think it sounds like Elvis Presley's Lovely Tender speeded up. That's what I think it sounds like. Let me know what you think. So somebody asked me in a private message, a friend of mine, he asked me what kind of gas mileage, for want of a better expression, as in the fuel economy. I seem to remember the fuel economy is, I think, a 9-litre tank lasts up to about 70 hours. But, you know, it really depends on the temperatures. It depends on the temperature setting, and it depends on what the room temperature is. So it can be as low as, say, 20 hours, and it can be as high as, say, 70 hours, you know. So if you have it always on the low setting, it's not trying to achieve any temperature, it's going to be always on a minimal power output, so then you're going to get the maximum fuel economy. But obviously, as I said in the previous video, that the main video, if you have, you know, if you have it on a higher temperature setting and the room temperature is particularly cold, the more it's trying to achieve, there we are, so that's the second time it's done the sound. That should mean that it's been on for 2 hours 55 minutes, and after another 5 minutes it will shut off automatically if I don't press the reset button, which is below the flashing LED. So yeah, basically it's from about 20 hours to about 70 hours for a 9-litre tank, all depending on how you use it and the, you know, if as I said. So I think you understand that. Basically, the higher you set the temperature and the colder the room, then obviously it's going to use more fuel. So I'm trying to think what I get out of it, because as you can see, I don't have it set very high, but I don't have it on continuously. You know, I'm here late evenings when I get home from work, and it's now a Sunday afternoon, and I've switched it on this morning when I woke up about forget what time it was, but I switched it on this morning. Had a little bit of a lie-in, and it's down to half a tank, as you can see. So it's used about 4.5 litres. So yeah, I don't think the fuel economy is that good, really, especially with the price of fuel. You know, it's shocking. But it's about 100 yen for a litre of paraffin at the moment, so you can do the maths. The other question was about fumes. Now, this is one thing that they've done with these more recent models. They've really worked hard to reduce the amount of fumes coming out of them, so they've got more efficient. And what happened with the older models, so I had a model when I first, I mean these have been around for years, these paraffin fan heaters, and the older models, when you switched them on, they took a few minutes, like about 3 minutes before they actually fired up. Now they take, well, this one takes 40 seconds, which has become a selling point. Not only that, they used to pump out horrific fumes at the beginning when you switched them on, and at the end when you switched them off. During use, but you know, between on and off, I don't remember noticing any fumes at all, any smell at all. I mean, obviously, dealing with paraffin is a smelly experience when you're refilling the tank, and I think as I said, they've done away with. They actually describe it as like something like minimal smell, or very little smell, but they mean fumes. That's how they describe it in Japanese. And now when you switch it off, you do, when it comes on, I think I mentioned that in the first video, you do get a small burst of fumes. And when it goes off, when you either switch it off or it goes off automatically, there is a small burst of fumes. But nothing nasty, nothing unpleasant, nothing overpowering. It's something you can live with. But it used to be horrific. It used to be really bad. And I'm pleased to say that it's a lot better now. There are other makes. My one's Dainichi, and there's I suppose the other major brand is Corona, which is not a name that you'd want to use anymore these days, but it was already a well-established brand before the virus was on the scene. So yeah, there's another major brand called Corona. They used to be almost identical. In fact, I chose this one because it has a 9-litre tank, and the main rival brand had a 7.2 litre tank, and the fuel economy was more or less the same. So I didn't really feel that I wanted to, you know, I wanted the least amount of refilling the tank. So I went for the 9-litre tank. But actually, I was in a home centre the other day, and I was just comparing, having a look out of interest, and the Corona paraffin, it's going to go off now. It should go off automatically. So there we are, it's turned itself off automatically. I've got a blast of fumes in my face now, and but it's not that bad. I mean, I can live with it. The room will have this smell of paraffin for a little bit, but I should say paraffin fumes, but it's not serious. I've let it switch itself off, not just to do the video, but I want to top the tank up, because although there's still got half a tank left, I'm really busy during the week, and I get home late, and I can't be bothered. I don't want to be faffing about filling up paraffin tanks in freezing temperatures outside, because I do it outside. I don't keep the paraffin in my house for safety reasons, and also it stinks, as you're well aware. So there we are. Just so you know, when the tank runs out and it switches itself off, because another thing it does is there's when the fuel runs down, when there's no more fuel left, it will switch itself off. It won't like burn itself out. It will switch off, which is also not just sensible, but it's a safety feature as well, because otherwise I think it causes damage otherwise, and to the machine, you know, if you let it burn dry. So the warning tone when it runs out of fuel is different. I forget what it is, but it's different. I think it's Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, speed it up. I'm fairly sure that's what it is when it switches itself off because there's no fuel left. Right, so yeah, as I was saying, I had a look in the home centre the other day, and the main rival brand Corona, those heaters now are showing better fuel economy than these Dainichi. So I'm just assuming that somehow they've updated them and managed to tweak them, re-engineer them, and get better fuel economy, which is interesting. I'm not going to go and buy one based on that, because you know I've already got this one. I've got another one, by the way, in another room, another part of the house, which is slightly smaller and a slightly older design. It's silver metal, and it doesn't have a fuel gauge. So this one's got, as I said, it's slightly upmarket, very slightly upmarket. This one with the fuel gauge and the whole general design and display and everything, the backlight and stuff like that. You can see there's a sticker down there. You see the number 3. That's saying that there's a 3-year warranty, and it also says it's made in Japan. Right, so I think I've covered everything. Well, what I didn't show you was the tank. So if I open the flap there, it's got this handle, and there you go. That's the tank. I'm holding the iPad, so it's very difficult to show you fully. You can start to smell the paraffin when you take the tank out. So I'm going to take the tank outside and fill it up, basically. And there we are. Hopefully that's answered your questions. And if you've got any questions, please leave them in the comments. This has been Hi-Fi Lo-Fi. Thank you.